the recording in case you don't get it. It's lovely to have you here. Thanks ever so much for taking the time to talk to us. I believe you're having a bit of time out at the moment over here in the UK. Yeah, how long are you over for?
I'm over here for 3 weeks, leaving on the 22nd of August.
Right.
So next week Sunday I'll be on the plane back home to my family.
Alright. Are you looking forward to getting back?
I am. I needed this rest, but I miss my family.
Sure.
Looking forward to seeing them.
Yeah. I understand you went to the Keswick Convention?
Yeah, that was great. You know, as ministers we often preach and we serve and we never sit and receive. So it was just a great time of receiving from God and listening to Him, disappearing in the crowds, people not knowing who you are, and just resting. Wonderful.
Yeah, smashing. You're obviously from Namibia. Perhaps if you could sort of tell us a little bit about your background, how you came to be a minister in Namibia, your calling, and maybe some of the challenges and difficulties that the area has where your churches are.
Right. I think my parents, as I said previously, had a love for Shakespeare because they had a son and a daughter that they called Romeo and Juliet. So yeah, I'm Romeo Pedro from Namibia, as you said. I'm married. We have 3 children. Yeah, and I grew up in. I don't know if you know where Namibia is. Namibia is just north.
I took the liberty of finding a map.
Right.
You need a very long stick to point it out.
So as you can see, just north of South Africa, you see Namibia there. I'm right in the middle of Namibia, in a place called Rehoboth, which is just about 87 kilometers. I don't know how much that is in miles from the capital city. I was born there and gave my life to the Lord at the age of 15. Shortly after my conversion experience, I received a call into the ministry at the age of 15. I've always had a love for writing, and having grown up in Southern Africa at the time with the apartheid issues, I've always been politically and socially aware. So I've always written about political and social issues. And shortly after my conversion experience, I was asked to write something for our secondary school paper on the shacks around Rehoboth, you know, the social-political setup around Rehoboth. And to cut a long story short, I went out to this settlement, and while I was there, I was deeply challenged by God, looking at the suffering of people. And I could hear God saying to me, like He did say to Isaiah, "Whom shall I send, and who will go into these circumstances?" And I had no choice but to respond, "Lord, here am I, send me," at the age of 15.
What were some of the problems specifically that you were seeing?
Alcoholism, drugs, poverty, adverse poverty. At the time, we didn't know anything about HIV, but as you know, as time went on, HIV also became a problem. So primarily poverty, alcoholism, violence against women and children. Those were the issues that confronted me at the time. And I felt God saying to me that you need to go into these circumstances and you need to be my voice. You need to be my hands, my feet. You need to bring my love into the situation. And as young as I was, as I said, "Lord, I will go." And so at the age of 18, I had a dream to study medicine, which I never realized because I felt this call on my life, and I went to to study theology, and since then I've been in the ministry.
And you're charged over a number of churches, aren't you?
Yes.
Quite once, well, the furthest out is a long way from your local one, isn't it?
That's right. I am currently serving, as I said, in Leopold, but serving in the southern part of Namibia. So right about, if you look at the chart there, in the middle you will find Namibia, and I'm serving right to the bottom of the border of South Africa. It's about 600 miles, the circuit. So it involves a lot of traveling. There's some challenges that we face, not just the distances, but as I said earlier, currently our biggest challenge is perhaps poverty, and related to that, because you can't separate the two, is the whole issue of HIV and AIDS, resulting in children being left orphaned and vulnerable. Sometimes children left heading households, caring for other siblings. That is one of the major challenges that we face at the moment, caring for these children that are left destitute and vulnerable, not only because of HIV, but because of other socio-economic circumstances that they face.
So you as a church have seen this great need around the area of the church. So how has your church there responded to that need?
Yeah. You have no other choice if you're a Christian to look at Jesus' example. He left his Father's home in glory to live amongst us, identified with us, gave of himself for us. Also his command in Matthew 25:31 onwards, if you've done this to the least of these, you've done it to me. And so the socio-political circumstances coupled with Jesus' example and his command to care, to love, have prompted us to start to work with these children. In 2001, my wife started a feeding scheme for children that are orphaned and vulnerable. But we soon realized that, it's not just the need for clothes and the need for food that these children had, but many of these children lost parents, so there was a need for other things, psychosocial, what we call psychosocial support, grief counseling, just a place where these children can be children and not forced into adulthood. So we started a project called the Real Kiddies, and so we feed these children, we provide grief counseling, we allow time for them to just play and be, we clothe them. If we have money, we pay their school fees, and there are all kinds of other activities. So we've embraced these children, and we run this project to help build the resilience of these children to continue and to make something of their lives.